I gave you one, didn't you? No, it's okay, okay. But, good morning. Good morning, Alan. Yeah, Alan. Are you? Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very soft. Yeah. Easy, Tanya, the question today. You're going to people out? No, more. This really is something we spoke about once, but it's 4 years ago, and I wonder if the circumstances changed that the halacha should change. The last time the IDF went into Gaza, a lot of the commanders told their soldiers that if they are captured, that they should take their own lives. It was one of them that concluded his pep talk. Remember, the last grenade you save for yourself. So, I mean, understand why commanders would say such a thing to soldiers. If they get captured, it's very, very complicated. There were soldiers that asked, what's the din al pi halacha? Are they allowed to do it or not allowed to do it? This is obviously like many shabbos sometimes that we talk, and we're going to give 20 minutes for it, and you can trim 5 svarim on this. And unfortunately, there's a very painful history of finding through about it. For example, in the Middle Ages, there were a lot of kehillas that felt that they were about to be captured by the Crusaders, and they had preferred to kill each other than be caught by the Crusaders. And so you can imagine that the shaila came up. This Masada, Taka Josephus, in one of his fun discusses like the moral and the discussion that they had, not Punta Masada, but another battle. But this is the moral plus. What do you mean morals? Plus, there's no morals without the Torah. The question has been debated forever and ever, and I'd like to give a little bit of a summary of Rav Zilberstein's thing, and then a little bit of the commentary that I have on it. Just like last week, I just want to emphasize before we start even. I'm just presenting something. And we're only learning this in Torah that the Eibusha should help and should be merachim the schus of our learning, that this would be a totally irrelevant question. And we're not paskening shaylas here because it's not Nagea La'aloka. And in order to pasken a shayla like this, you have to be G'day L'Mashe Ba'aretz. But we'll just review the sugya. Okay, quickly. This week's parsha, it says, V'achas dimchem l'nafshesechem edrish, miyad kol chaya deshenem, miyad ha'odam, miyad ishochiv, edrish is nefesh ha'odam, Rabbi Lezer Omer, miyad nafshesechem edrish is dimchem. The Lashon HaPosek, mashma, V'achas dimchem l'nafshesechem, that if a person kills himself, the Eibusha says he's going to punish him. Rabbi Lezer Omer, miyad nafshesechem edrish is dimchem. And then Rama Pas comes that way. Okay. What's the story in the end of Shmuel Aleph? The pasuk says, "Uplishtim nilchamim b'Yisrael, vayanusa anshi Yisrael mipnei plishtim, vayiplu chalolim behar hagilboya, vayidbeku plishtim eshol v'zbona vayaku plishtim esyoinusam v'es avinoda v'es malkishua b'nei shol, vatich b'dam milcham el shol, vayimtzu amoidim anoshim v'akoshes vayochel moed ma'amoidim." That he saw there were trained snipers. Snipers at that time was obviously not with a gun.
Sure. The
Meforshim say that it was with a bow and arrow. And it makes sense that way because moedim is usually The pasuk says bakoshes. I mean, moidim bakoshes, not a sword. They were standing. If there was too close with the sword, the story couldn't have transpired. He saw that he was already targeted by the professional snipers, and that it was a question of a few minutes. Vayochel moed ma moedim. He was very scared from the snipers that were about to release the arrows on him. Vayomer shol noise chelav shloif charbecha udekoreni va pen yavoyo arele maela udekoreno visalo lubi. Shaul said to his man, "You stab me," he said, "because I'm scared that the Arelim, the Goyim, will come and they're going to stab me." Visalalubi. Visalalubi. What does it mean, Visalalubi? Portrait. Veloy ova noise kelev ki yorem meoid. Vayikach Shaul as acherev vayipol alav. So Shaul committed suicide, basically. He killed himself. He took his sword and he jumped on his sword. Vayar noise kelev kimei Shaul vayipol gam hu al charbe v'yomasimba v'yomas Shaul l'shloishes bonav noise kelev gam kol anosher v'yom hu yachta.
By Shaul, he wasn't the captive.
Yeah.
Let's discuss the case of Shaul now. So there is the case of Shaul has probably more. Well, let's split it. Let's talk about the 6 possible explanations that there is. Some say, well, he did a mistake. He didn't do the right thing. And Asag says a lot of the Geonim really said that he did the wrong thing. Do you see a shift in attitude maybe in the Middle Ages? Rishonim already. You see from the Goinim, a lot of them were like, no, he did the wrong thing. Or alternatively, some of the Goinim explain that he didn't really commit suicide. It's a whole story with the Gate Amaleki, that really the Gate Amaleki killed him. He was weak, he fell on his sword, he didn't really, it doesn't sound that way from the Pasuk. In the Pasuk, it sounds like Vayikach Sholas Achere Vayipol Allah. That means, but they say no, Vayipol means he fell, not Vayipil. Okay. But let's read the Rishonim. The Medrash Rabbah actually says, "Ach bosa ben afshe domo loite chelu." Ach, what does it mean? Ach is usually to be mamad something. Lahovi achoinek atzmei. Yochel kishol tamad loima ach. Yochel kechanani v'shol v'azaria tamad loima ach. Basically, the Medrash saying is you might think it's not allowed to commit suicide. Maybe Shol. Shol is allowed to. Tananya, Mishol, Vazaria are allowed to.
It doesn't necessarily mean whether or not they're allowed to.
How?
It's that midrash just talking about whether or not someone loses his kelim, no in Baba. So it's
Okay.
even if he's not allowed to, but because he was so pressured, so he's accused from.
Yeah, true. Right. There are those that learn, and I think Mecholim the Ramban, that it means that they're going to be excused to have Olam Haba, but not that we're allowed to. We'll read it in a minute. The Beis Yosef brings in the Bedek Abayis and Siman Yeredeh Siman Kuf Nun Zayin. Kosa Berches Chaim Bereishis Rabbi Doirish Achas Dimchol Nafshe Seichem Chulu. Az hor lechoyne kasatz me yochel afil kechnanye mishal vazari tamal ma'ach pidish geshas shmad yochel limser atzmei lemisa vel arges atzmei mu yedeh shal yochel amad min isoyen v'kein yochel afil keshol ben kishim yore shema yaseloi yisurim koshim. So one thing he says that if he knows that there's going to be an isoyen of aveda, he's allowed to let him kill himself. The other one is that they're going to make him yisurim koshim sheyochel limser atzmei lemisa tamal ma'ach. That the B'shas Hashmad, there were people, Rahman al-Islam, all over Europe, that there were people that were killing their children. They didn't want the Chas v'Sholem, they'll be killed, and the children will be Nitma ben Agoyim. So they went and they killed their children, and then they killed themselves. So you know, like all over Europe, you know, like we live in New York. So in the city of York, if you go today, there's a plaque where there was a citadel of the city. It says that in 14, whatever, whichever it was, in 1390, that whenever it was, that there was a big fire and many people got killed in the big fire. What really happened was that the Yidden realized that the Goyim are about to kill them, and the Yidden decided to shep their children and then kill themselves. So that's the first shot. The first shot is to read the Medrash as not saying, you know what, they'll also have Olam Haba. The saying that Takazoi, it's mutter to do. Came Peter Shadal Bag. Udikoruni bedekirois machivas v'yis'alalubi. That's the pshat v'yis'alalubi. They're gonna stab him. They're not just gonna kill him. They're gonna torture him, and therefore it was permissible for him to do it. The Tosfos in Gittin, Daf Nun Zayin, brings the story that there were 400 children that were in a boat, and they realized that it was all for Aveda. The girls will, Rahman al-Islam, be sold to be Zionist, and the boys will be sold also for Mishkav Zachar. They all jumped into the water. And then the Pasuk says that their Gan Eden is unbelievable, and Mibosh and Asher B'tzulas Yom. Very right, we mentioned in the Kinnis. So the Tosfos says that, so we see, but the Tosfos asks, in the story the Gemara says of the Kananya ben Tradian, his Talmidim said that when he was in the fire, they said to him that he should open his mouth because then he'll die a little quicker and it'll be less painful. And he said, "Mutav sheitlana mishanasna." That the Eibishter gave me my neshama, he should take it. I'm not doing anything. The truth is that some Sefer said that it was a midas chasidus. That it's not. But the Tosfos is interesting. Tosfos says, how come we see from the Tosfos didn't think it's midas chasidus. He said that the children was different. Yereim hoyum yisurim. The thing is that Tosfos says at the end, he says like we see in the Gemara, Bachananya Mishal Vazarya, the Ilu Nagdu Lachananya Mishal. The Gemara says they've been thrown in the fire and do Kiddush Hashem. But if they were not thrown in the fire, but they were tortured, we don't know what would be. Because the Gemara wants to bring out how difficult torture is. That torture is more pain, could be more painful than death. So one way of learning the Tosfos is to say that the Tosfos is just saying how painful it would be. Another way of learning Tosfos is to say that he brought that Al-Mola Nagdua, say that it's similar to Chanani Mishal Vazarya, that they thought there's going to be an Aveda involved, because that's what that the boys will be used in the Mishkav Zachar and the girls. So maybe that's why. But in the simple words of the Tosfos, when the Tosfos just answers the Hochi Yereim Hoyum Yisurim, it sounds like the Tosfos holds that if a person is scared from Yisurim, even not in the level of the Yisurim of Shoal, which is the Plishtim were very cruel people. And as we see now, the people that call themselves Plishtim, even though they're not the same thing, but what's the difference? The Plishtim were very cruel. But the Tosfos says a person that's Yorim Yisurim is allowed to. In the same Beis Yosef, in the Bedek Abayis, he continues from the Eretz Chaim. Yesha Osru, Umefarshim Ach Tamad Loy Ma'ach, Sheni Yochel Argatz Nevchanan Yishol Vazarya, Mosratz Miyad Achedim, Avalheim Loy Pogav Atzma V'Shol, Ben Kish Loy Beratz Chacham Masa, Umayse Berav Echet Shishochet Tinoikas Harbe B'Shas Hashmat Sheyorish Yeviruhum Al Dos, V'Hoye Imer Rav Echet V'Kos Alav V'Kor Ritzeach, V'Ulay Chosh L'Dvorav, V'Amar Arav Ameneim K'Dvorav Yorav Goyis Arav, Misa Meshuna. Achein Hoya Shetafsu Goyim V'Hoye Poishtim Oire V'Noistim Koil Beina Oir V'Abosar V'Achkech Nizbat Lag Zedem V'Loy Shachet Oisam Efshe Shoyin Nitzoylam V'Loy Hoya Horgim Oisam. Miscalculated, unbelievable. It's like that there was a machloikis between two poskim. One said and did he killed children in order for them not to fall into the hands of so and that's I don't know. This is probably talking the days of the Crusaders, something like that. And the other one told him that it's also, and he said the first one said the one that said it's also said that if Kasv Shalom that there'll be a sign from heaven. And the Taka, the Rav that did it, was caught by the Goyim, and they peeled off his skin. And while they were peeling off his skin, he put sand between his skin and his flesh. Rahman al-Islam. And that was Oism in Hashabayim. He said, and afterwards, that whatever the Goyim left, whatever it was, the situation changed. And if the children weren't killed, they would have lived. And so it's saying you never know what's going to be. So, and this is the Orchis Chaim. And there's many other shittas that hold this way. I think in a minute we'll talk about the Shulchan Aruch. Anyway, bottom line is there's a lot of opinions that hold that this was Shaloi B'Ratzon Chachamim. It's not, under no circumstances, a person allowed to do it. The third answer is Yamsha Shloime. Yamsha Shloime says, Mistama b'nei Yisrael lo yuchlu lidas b'tzoras hamelech, l'bekuach nefesh achedim muter lachbel ba'atzmai. That what happens, the Shaul HaMelech thought to himself, if he's going to be captured by the Plishtim, now he knew that the night before he spoke to Shmuel HaNavi. Shmuel HaNavi told him, Mocher imi b'mechitzasi. Gemara says, imi b'mechitzasi. He knew that the next day that it's all over. So that he's going to be killed anyway. So what's going to happen? The Yidden are going to hear that their king is in the hands of the Plishtim. What are they going to do? 10,000 men are going to jump up, but he knows already that it's the end. So for no reason, 10,000 Jews are going to jump up and they're going to get killed, or many of them are going to get killed. So because he wanted to save the other people from rescuing him, that's why, because once he's killed, they're not going to go rescue him. It's true, once he was killed, they rescued his body, but they didn't put their life in danger. And the Plishtim took off his clothing and they hung him up, and then they sent him around. So the Yidden came and at night and they took back his body and the body of his children.
Right.
But they didn't put their life in danger for that, because he was already not alive. But if he was alive, he thought that they're going to put their life in danger to save their king. So in order to save other Jews, he was allowed to do that. The fourth answer is in the Shorei Knesset Agdola, right over there in the Agos Beis Yosef Oisraf Aleph. He says that very interesting things. He says Shaul is not an ayat. He says the Navi told him that he's not going to live any longer. So say that a Rebbeinu Shalom came and told a person that this is the minute he's about to pass away. So then
It says you can actively do something.
that's the
If
answer.
Hashem decides the time has come, the Malchus will
Right.
take you.
You think that way? That goes Beis Yosef begs to differ. That goes Beis Yosef thinks that that's the answer of the story of Shaul. That's why
you
did
need a nevuah.
Shaul?
You need a nevuah. I don't have a Navi telling me when the Malchus is coming. That's
What he's saying.
difference.
That's what he's saying. Exactly. He's saying he's minimizing. He's saying that the story of Shaul, because he doesn't want he should learn from the story of Shaul. He's saying the story of Shaul happened because he knew from a Navi that he's not going to live any longer, so he was allowed to commit suicide. The fifth answer is Chilul Hashem. The Matnas Kuna writes that Ima Nafal Beat Plishtim Mesalim by Metame Moise Vebez Chilul Hashem. El Shlomo says Gam Efshem Mishum Kovid Melech Mashiach Hashem V'Chilul Hashem. It would be a big Chilul Hashem that the king, which is Mashiach Hashem, anointed by the Rabbanah Shalom to be the king for the Jewish people, that he should fall into the hands of the Plishtim. So for that, for such an egregious thing, it's a Chilul Hashem. He was allowed to commit suicide.
Now the Belgar says that it's shtickle writer, but he's afraid other people would get killed because of him.
Right, exactly. It's right. So I think even one of them, unfortunately, mentions such a thing. Yeah.
It's an Sultans in battle, but they have so much intelligence information that if they get captured or they torture them and you get the information, they're risking other people's lives.
Right. The sixth answer that's brought from the Toisus, that that if he's thinking that they're going to be, and maybe that's the Kavod and Toisus, when the Toisus said the Yisurim, that the 400 children were allowed to jump into the ocean, kill themselves, because Yisurim wasn't stopped because they knew they're going to be tortured, but because they're going to be tortured to do an Aveda, the boys will be for Mishkazok and the girls for school. Okay. So in about 10 years ago, Rav Zilberstein said that he asked Rav Elyashiv what he thinks. Rav Elyashiv said he sees no room to be made. He says only according to the first shita we just say. Well, we have 5 shittas against it. The first shita that says that if a person is going to have Yisurim, then he's allowed to. But the other 5 shittas, it says Elyashiv said it for sure if someone did so, that he has a chelik in Elam Haba and he should be maspedim and everything, but it's not permissible. This was 10 years ago, published by Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein. Things a little changed today. A lot of the other reasons perhaps apply today. Let's read the third reason: saving other Jews. Someone just mentioned if a soldier is captured and they'll torture him to find out information. Not only that, but the IDF is obligated to try to do their best. They're going to send soldiers. 20 might, Rahman al-Islam, be killed in the process of saving this one. And maybe the Israeli government will want to trade prisoners, like in the story of Gilad Shalit, 1,000 for one. And then these are Reitzchim that have proven that they're going to go out afterwards and kill Jews. So perhaps the third reason, just like we said that Shaul was allowed to kill himself. Why? Because he was scared that a lot of Jews will get killed. A soldier in the IDF perhaps could say he's scared that a lot of other Jews will be killed because of him. Obviously, the fourth reason doesn't apply. The idea Pinovi. Chilul Hashem, I'm not sure. Maybe also a soldier could say that there's an issue of Chilul Hashem.
It's public. If it's an individual you could say that the individual hostages, Rahman al-Islam, is one thing, but a Chayal is a public figure of the state of Israel.
And what happens is they're taking videos and they're publishing it. Rahman al-Islam, how they're being torturing people, and they're publishing it to the whole world. The thing is like this: I would say in Chilul Hashem you have to be careful, because the Yamshel Shlomo said, "Efshe mishum kovid melech Mashiach Hashem." He said it's only a Chilul Hashem because Shaul was Mashiach Hashem. So the soldiers in the IDF are not Mashiach Hashem. But for example, the Matnas Kahuna didn't say Chilul Hashem because he's a Kovid Melech Mashiach Hashem. He said because Hoima Alalim Boy, Metami Moisoy. I don't know what Metami Moisoy, what he had in mind, but Yeshua Rahman al-Islam, they say that terrible footage has been circulating. So if a soldier is scared that such things might bring to Chilul Hashem, Nesoyin Amuna.
There might be a reflection Palestinians permission. We could use it as a form of abuse.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Side for women, which they've proven themselves to shoot. They say, what do we know? But we're not looking at these things. But they say that terrible things have been circulating. So if a soldier says that he doesn't want to chas v'sholom because he thinks that that's going to be a chilul Hashem, an nisoyin of Amunah, it's hard to say that there'll be a nisoyin of Amunah, but there could be again, if the nisoyin means a nisoyin for an Aveda, so there could be a nisoyin for an Aveda. Look, just like these boys that were scared that they'll be taken from Mishkav Zocher. And apparently, as much as the Arabs, as on the outside,
claim that they aren't.
They claim that they aren't, but it seems that they're not stam are, but in a very strong way. So, and it seems like a lot of more reasons today would apply. However, and one more thing.
Did you see if the Rabbanut put out?
I didn't see. No.
Yeah.
If you see anything, let me know. I didn't see anything. I looked.
When I was aware of this issue when I was in Eretz Israel, and even though I didn't hear it firsthand, but I have heard, or I didn't see it written, but I did hear it from sources which I consider to be reliable, that Rav Goren issued a Pesach that a soldier was captured and he feels that under torture is going to reveal information that will endanger the lives of other soldiers or civilians. He's allowed, or perhaps even chayav, to commit suicide.
I hear. Yesterday I did a lot of. I searched. I thought I'd find something from Goren in writing. I didn't, but could be it was one Shabbat Peh. It could be I didn't look enough. There is a Barbanel that says, "Roi sheteda shaloi pochet shol mehem pen yamisu, aval pochet moed pen yakois and beoifen shelo yamos migad, v'lo yuchal ilchem v'yitfesu v'yalilu boy benokram eina v'chotchem moise ever l'sinas aplishte moise l'mash ishches ben moed l'zemer l'noise kelev shloif karbacha de koruni v'salu bi Retzoyne lema b'rishon yisalu boy v'achroni yitkeru v'zeh yid koruni boifen nivze v'yisalu boy boifen dikur derech nekama b'zoyin." So whatever we see. I mean, the Barbanel also. I mean, there's a lot of opinions that hold like that. The first shita. The interesting thing is in the Shulchan Aruch, the Simon Shimon Meisav Gimel, he says these words: "God lamabed atzma ladas v'onas k'shol hamelech ein ma'onim men klol dover." So there's two ways of reading the Shulchan Aruch. One way of reading it is retro, that now that he already was nifted, so we'll my brother was teaching. He teaches in the Sifta, So he was telling me that he decided to use this. He gives a shiur Friday in Shilas. So he said he wanted. Why did he pick this thing? He was like, today, today in the from world we're dealing with it. So he wanted to give over a subliminal message how strong it is that the isur for a person to take their own life, that their life doesn't belong to them, belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he presented the thing, and he was as if he's not talking about the kids, he's talking about the soldiers in Gaza, but he tried to put it in because he felt that it was good for their chinuch. So one kid says, "But Rabbi, last year our Rabbi told us that the Shulchan Aruch says that even a person that's ma'abed atzma ladas ain't moinu mimenu kol davar." So my brother said, he said, you have to be careful what you tell children.
Right.
I mean, what's negative for kids to know this dalocha? It's for kids to go learn in yeshiva today. It's important to emphasize that they should never chas v'shalom think taking their own lives is chas v'shalom an option and after mini olaf. I mean, what a soldier might be going through under captivity under Hamas is shimu shamayim. I mean, the Plishtim are probably considered nice guys compared to these guys. The shimu shamayim. No one, the Rebbe should help that from this moment on. No Jew should ever have this question. But so my brother said, he told him, look, there's Bezdin Shalmata and Bezdin Shalmaila. We have to give him the benefit of the doubt. The Rebbeinu Shalom knows the person's intentions. The Rebbeinu, you can't hide your intentions from the Rebbeinu Shalom. When a person comes to the Bezdin Shalmaila, the Eibush said, Edrish, I'm going to be Doirish. So even if the Bezdin Shalmata says, oh, we don't know, well, most of the time we give people the benefit of the doubt. So, but the Rebbeinu Shalom knows. I think it's a true pshat. It's a emes of pshat, emes v'nochem. The thing is, how do you read the Shulchan Aruch ein moinim? Is it retro ein moinim, or that even lechatchila we say that maybe he had the issue of Shaul? And Shulchan Aruch brings an example of Shaul. Is it that Shaul b'di'evad ein moinim imenu davar? Which see Chazal say that the were punished; they were not masped him kaloch. So is it that? Listen, it's a Bezdin Shalmata. They didn't know. The question is, according to the opinion that says that he did the wrong thing, so why were the Jews punished? So one was saying, but the Jews didn't know what happened. So Bezdin Shalmata, they should have made a hesped kaloch.
But I mean, unfortunately, someone in our society who commits suicide, that's usually a mental illness.
Right.
Not some soldier who's facing torture.
In retro, we always.
What?
You look at it like
We look at it that way.
But after his we come up giving this that the shaman can completely.
That's the way we look at it.
Complete insanity.
A Rebbe in 10th grade is what we look and what a Rebbe should say to the students in 10th grade. A Rebbe should tell the students in 10th grade that this is never, ever, ever an option. Ever. And this is a good shot, and it's true. But the truth is what you said is also true. That Nebuch, a person that Nebuch doesn't his mind, he doesn't know what he's doing. So it's different. Okay. Anyway, if you look in the Noisei Klishach, it sounds like the Shulchan Aruch holds that Shaul was permissible to do it. So it really sounds that way from the Agos Hagura, from the Noisei Kalim. So it sounds like from the Shulchan Aruch held that Shaul was allowed to do. So it's a very strong point. The Shulchan Aruch paskin that Shaul was allowed to kill himself. Shaila is, what were the circumstances? Which pshat? Why was Shaul allowed to do it? Seems like a lot of poskim hold that the first reason is a strong reason. But anyway, Rav Elyashiv said no. So could be in 10 years ago, the other reasons didn't apply so much. And exactly. I think it's a slippery slope. That's why I said in the beginning that me and you shouldn't be posking on such questions. Rav Elyashiv might have
broad shoulders.
Someone that learned Shas at poskim more than once. That otherwise he thought that this is a very, very slippery slope. You can't,
and he knew that as a public figure, whatever he says will be quoted throughout to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if a regular rabbi says something, fine, so his community will know about it. But the Gadol Ador says something, and he knows it's going straight to the army, and the Rabbanut will deal with it, and the army will deal with it, and the media will deal with it.
Right. So that's why Chachamim is Zorah b'Divreichem could be, but you know what? the way the Bezdin Shalmata looks at things, the Eibishter has to see that there's no other option, and the only option is that the Eibishter has to protect every Yidden, and L'shioscha kavisi Hashem. The Eibishter should help that in the schus of dealing with this question, that we're not going to have to deal with it in Maisa B'Poil, because we already dealt with it on a conceptual level. Someone asked me a shaila this week. It's not the detail of the shaila, whatever. His wife bought 10 items from Target. 10 items we have in our house. We have a depot for Amazon. The front room of our house is an Amazon depot. So things are coming and going. So his wife bought a box of stuff from Target and it was delivered. Accidentally, so say one thing was a sweater, a nice warm sweater. Okay. A few days later, on the same package, came accidentally an extra sweater, the same sweater. Okay. So she calls up the company, says, accidentally, you sent me a sweater. Don't send it back. Keep it. Okay. Very nice.
We're mochel on it.
Mochel. Very good. Now, she went and did a couple of returns. And she realized, hey, I returned the sweater. I returned that sweater. Now, good. So, a shaila. We can jump quickly to the shaila. Could you say, look, that the company says you already bought the sweater, so you know what? You're not going to buy. No one buys 10 of the same sweater, especially women. A man, you go into the store and you see a jacket's on sale. Oh, well, let me buy 3. I'm a chayav for the next few years. I don't have to buy a jacket. But it doesn't work that way with women. So it's not going to buy. A woman's never going to buy 2 items of the same thing, right?
Oh, no.
I'm saying what someone could argue that. Therefore, whatever. She's not going to buy another sweater like this from us. But now that you gave back the first sweater and you're going to wear this sweater for free, send it back. We're paid. That's the shaila. Again, you could tell me I'm wrong. I'm just saying a shaila. The point that was a shaila that someone asked. I'm looking into the shaila. I find an interesting shaila again from Rav Zilberstein. And he printed this. Baruch Hashem, this guy by now has published maybe 50 svarim. This guy doesn't stop. He says he has a set of svarim called Chashukei Chemed. So Maseches Eidevin Dapei. He says he had an interesting shaila. Someone asked him. He went to a suit store and he bought a suit. Say he bought for 500 shekel. And then, as he was walking out, the guy told him, "Oh, by the way, today there is a miftah. There's a promotion that buy one and get the second 50% off." Oh, great! I have 2 the same suit. Gewaldig. So he bought another suit, but the second suit was a little different than the first. But he was happy. 2 suits. He paid 750 shekel. He went to the tailor. He did alterations. Alles is getting fine. He puts on the first suit. He goes to Shul Shabbos. Comes home. There's a little rain, and all of a sudden, the color is dripping off the jacket. So Sunday he goes to the store. He says, you're not the first guy that was here. There's a whole bunch of people that came with the same problem. It's a defective batch of suits. If you want, give it back to me. Give back your money. He gave it back. He got back his 500 shekel. Then he realized, one second. Wait a minute. He went to Rav Zilberstein. He said, wait a minute. What's with the 250? He only sold me the second jacket for 250. So what do I do now? I'm a chuv to pay the 250. Could I give it back to him and say, but he's not going to want to take it from me? He's going to say you made alteration.
She likes the second suit, then let him keep it. What's the problem?
Well, it's pay full price. It's not 2. It's only about 1.
Right.
When he bought it as a package 2 for 1.
Right.
It was a package.
Right. That's his question. So because it was a package deal,
then.
Right. Opposite. Because it's a package deal, and now he gave back the first one. So now the whole deal, all deals are off. It's as if there's never a deal. The second suit was never sold to him, Kilo. It was all a mekechtos. It was one deal, so now we have to undo the deal. There was no deal. So now both suits go back to the store. Oh, wait a minute. The seller is going to say, who asked you to make alterations? You wrote my suit. So now we're going to have a whole discussion what to do with the alterations. So let's read it quickly inside. Mishpat Shalom Siman Kuf Pei Beis says, Herich bekamets da de dinim al bittel meke chelki, vehevi ma shekotso veradvaz. שהכהן כמה חתיך לספוירה ונמצא מום באחר מהם שכל המקח בוטל אוי דיוויד דאר הדבש אפילו לפעול כל המקח בסכום אחד אם הוא מקח אחד ולקח איזה בוי מפני מום יוכל המקח לבטל כל המקח machen אפרים קוסו של דיבר הפויסקום למש מקיים וסיים במשפט שולם שצריכים לדינם or Cheshvan like argues in it.
He made a Kenyan yet or no?
He made a Kenyan. Yeah, he bought. Say he went into a store and he bought 10 rolls of material, and he finds that one of them is a pogum. So he goes back to the merchant. The merchant says, "Look, you bring me back all 10, or nothing. You can't bring me back the one roll. It's one purchase. You know, the other ones, the price went up, or the other ones, I don't mind to take them back. But you can't give me back one and ask me for the money back at one. You give me back 10, or you give me back nothing." The Radvat says, "Adin and amoiche." The others disagree. Probably everyone would agree like this. If you have, say, things that are totally which you buy in the shirt a package of 5 undershirts, and you find that one of the undershirts is ripped. So probably all the poskim will agree that he'll come back to the store, say there's a mum, it's a mekech toz. So the moiche could say, listen, give me back the package or don't give me back the package. You can't give me one shirt that I should replace one shirt. If you want me to replace the shirt, you got to give me back the package.
He goes back to the guy sold him.
Right. So same thing at pachves, a jacket that the pants is matching the machlokes over here was against the advaz was because it was 10 rolls of material. So the first and the second are not it's nothing. It's 10 rolls. But since he swiped the credit card and was one transaction, the advaz says, "Oh, you swiped your credit card in one time. It's it's one transaction." So that's one shayla. However, there is something more than that. Look at the next paragraph. Nida ben yaneinu lekula alma yochel amoichel levatel amekech. V'zes al pimach kosav machne Ephraim hilchas Mashiach siman aleph. Kim bika shalakech amoichem meya amas shal bad. U'moshach miktzas ma'abadim. V'koydem shemoshach hakoil choza boy echad mehem. Im amoicher hoize las amekech beglal shom acher harbe biyachad v'lakech hoize boy. Oz biyad amoicher levatel kol amekech. Di yishlem shloi hoize kol amekech el adaite sheyikne hakoil. Gam im yaneinu rekoma shenoslo yas a khalifa. Katzem bechir v'shul shekona chalifa rishonim. L'chem biyad amoicher levatel kol amekech. Saying, Machan Ephraim says that he thinks that everyone would agree. I go into a store. I say to the seller, you know what? I want to have 100 yards of schoida. So usually say a yard is $1.50. He says, you know what? 100 yards. I'll give it to you for $1 a yard. We start, moving the schoida, and I say after 3 yards, you know what? 3 yards is good enough. I'll come back another time. Michael says, you can't say you want it for $1 a yard. If you're getting the 100 yards, you get $1 a yard. But if you're going to want to walk out here with 3 yards, you got to pay $1.50 a yard. So he's saying the same thing here. Everyone will agree. It's not just about like Shiloh did advance. This is more egregious. Here he gave you a discount on the second suit because you bought the first suit. And then furthermore, he says, if the seller is right, then the buyer has a problem because he made another mum in it, and it's not so poshut that he's bought it from making. So, but then Rabbi Zilberstein said a very balabatish svara. He said if you feel that it's a hashver, I guess it was in Bnei Brak and start with Yerushalayim or something. He said if you want to be makel, he says you could say that today Bisman Hazeh, it's different than because people want that their store should have a good name, and if it's just like
quality control,
and this customer satisfaction is very big. Takaza, we always want to shop in Yiddish stores. Why is it that so many from families are shopping not in Yiddish stores? It's a return policy. We're not blaming the Yidden for it's hard to run a mom and pop shop and have such a return policy like Costco, the Moshe. It's very hard to run a business that way. But lidich for a customer, so for a Jewish mother who bought techveis for all her children, to try out, she bought 30 pairs of shoes, and then Saduch Roshim Kippur, like a whole thing, the whole Chodesh Tisha went through, and she didn't return 12 pairs of shoes. It was a Hamish store. That's it. You lost. You're stuck. You're out. So he said,
The lands,
huh?
the fruit of the lands and then ship.
Yeah.
They said there was too many returns. Wouldn't sell it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mr.
They were
Land's End.
That offer lifetime guarantees.
When the kids grow up. So instead of dumping it in one of the moistest bins. So anyway, I think in this case it's different. And more different than even the case of Bzelberstein. Why? Very simple. I'll tell you what, I'm never involved. I'd said the front of my house is a depot. I have no idea what's coming or what's going. I have zero idea, but things are coming and going all the time. But I figured I was filtering in this question. I figured I'll ask my wife what she thinks. She said, "You don't understand how it works with the companies. You don't begin. Is it making people pull them over here with this poisek and that advaz machne Ephraim? You don't begin to understand how it works." She says, "What happens is they're sending you an extra sweater. Why don't they want to take it back? Not only that, it's going to cost them a lot of money, and just they don't have a tracking number for it. Accidentally, someone threw it into a box. There's no way for them to handle it. When you want to do a return, they go and they look at your thing and they see there is numbers. An extra sweater that fell in there, there's nothing in the world they could do besides spending money.
They'll throw it out when they get it back.
They'll throw it out straight away because they don't have where to put it. They don't have where to place it. So besides the fact that they have to throw it out, they have to issue a label for you, which is and cost them money and is an absolute headache because they can't. The clerk on the phone can't just issue it.
When it's a mom and pop, then it's a much smaller scale.
Sure.
But when it's millions of things being sent all over the world, all over the country, it's just not worth it to them.
Not worth it to them. So therefore, it's no question that it's a mechila gemura. It's not like, oh, you're a nice customer and you bought a sweater. Now we gave you a second sweater. You don't keep it. But we would ask you to send it back. No, it's one doesn't have to do. It's a mechila gemura. It's 100% mechila. Even in the same phone call, the person would have said, "I want to return the sweater," but there is the other sweater. The clerk probably would have said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't help you. You have to give it." So, my wife told me, "What do you think? There's so many boxes sitting in our front and in the side of our house?" She says, "In the past 6 months, we're getting boxes, different names." And I called by Amazon. They should take it back. They said, "Oh, donate it to your local take it, use it." But there's nothing I can do with it. Why do you think we have?
Seller's money.
I talked about
seller's money.
Huh?
Isn't their money?
It's not their money. They don't. I have. If anyone wants, there's a treadmill sitting in my drive. Yeah, a treadmill. It's a cheap treadmill, so it's not. It's $180 treadmill. It's not $1,000. It's not like if you want, you can go pick it up. And apparently there's other boxes in the front porch, but I can't tell you which is what. So, but for sure the treadmill I know is gesundheit anyone that wants to take it. But so therefore, based on this metzias, so then there's no shaila that it's mutter gomor. There's
a store that sells Amazon returns. They sell to people,
yeah? What is that? What kind of business is this?
What it is that they can't handle the returns, it costs them too much. So they sell it cheaper to somebody who'll take a whole bunch of them and he sells it to different people.
When Amazon gets a return, they don't put it back on the shelf because most of the time the packages are right. It's not worth it. So my brother buys it for bulk, whatever, and he sells it. Sometimes he gets it for free.
Wow. Okay. So there's a third shaila. The time is getting a little. I'll leave it for another time. Someone asked me a shaila about doing mincha ma'ariv between plaga mincha. But I'll leave it a mitzvah for next week. The Eibush shall help him. Today is Zayim Cheshvan, and Zayim Cheshvan is unique because they waited. They would wait in Eretz Yisrael not to say Geshem. So we see from this that the Klal Yisrael feels responsible for every suit.